our longest trusted English newspaper since 1898. Now available digitally. Computer, order the Manila Times Digital Edition. Subscribed. Get the Manila Times Digital Edition for less than 2 pesos and 50 centavos per day when you sign up for 1 year. The Manila Times, news source of choice, trusted since 1898.
Welcome. Thank you for lending an ear to the Voice of the Times for Wednesday, June 15, 2022. For today's editorial, keep nuclear waste out of West Philippine Sea. In a television interview last week, Philippine Nuclear Research Institute or PNRI Director Carlo Arcilla made the shocking suggestion that the nuclear waste repository that would be needed if the Bataan Nuclear Power Plant or BNPP is rehabilitated and put into operation could be located on Pag-asa Island in the West Philippine Sea or WPS. In our view, there could hardly be a worse idea for handling nuclear waste than this, and it is deeply disturbing that the head of the country's only nuclear agency would offer such an irresponsible solution. Arcilia's comment came in an interview about the potential for resurrecting the mothballed BNPP, a possibility that the incoming President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos has emphasized he would like the government to explore, and an idea that we continue to maintain should be strongly discouraged. While the Philippines should remain open-minded about and study the potential of nuclear technology to meet its energy needs, rehabilitating the outdated BNPP would be unjustifiably problematic for a number of reasons. Any use of nuclear energy in the Philippines, whether that is the BNPP or some other safer, more efficient, and more cost-effective form of the technology, will require that the country have secure and well-managed waste disposal facilities and infrastructure. All nuclear power systems produce a considerable amount of potentially harmful waste that must be stored in a secure disposal facility. A relatively small amount of this is the extremely dangerous high-level waste consisting of spent nuclear fuel, discarded fuel assemblies, and other reactor system components, and a much larger volume of waste with lower levels of radioactivity, much of it water, along with irradiated equipment and components that are used and disposed of in the normal course of operations. Thus, no matter what technology the Philippines employs, waste disposal is a problem that must be solved before any nuclear generating facility is activated. It will be a much easier problem to solve for a system other than the BNPP, as newer technologies produce far less waste than plants of its 50-year-old design. Either way, it is an unavoidable issue and one that is worthwhile to discuss now. Unfortunately, the idea presented by PNRI's Arcilla violates almost all of the basic criteria for a safe location for nuclear waste disposal. Guidelines from the International Atomic Energy Agency or IAEA direct that nuclear waste disposal areas should be located away from the populated or ecologically sensitive areas, should be in geologically stable areas safe from risks from earthquakes, flooding, or other hazards, should be located in areas where the risk to populations from transporting the waste from the nuclear facilities is minimized as much as possible, and should be in locations where site security can be easily maintained. A waste site on Pag-asa Island would have to be excavated partly under the village located on the island, due to the island's small size, about 37 hectares, and would be located in an environmentally sensitive area. As it would have to be excavated below sea level, the proposed site would have a heightened risk of flooding, which could be mitigated but at much greater cost than a site on land. Transporting the waste by ship does keep it away from populated areas in transit, but carries a risk of an accident that could result in waste being lost at sea. Finally, Pag-asa Island, though it's pretty clearly part of Philippine sovereignty territory, is in the area disputed by China, which raises all sorts of questions about whether property security of the site can be maintained. It was, in fact, the ongoing dispute over control of the West Philippine Sea that apparently inspired Arcilia to make his reckless suggestion. In his interview, explained that parties coveting the territory of Pag-asa Island might not find it so attractive if there was a nuclear waste dumped there. As we have maintained, developing a framework for the safe and productive use of nuclear energy is a worthwhile objective for the Philippines, so that the country may take advantage of opportunities that become available. The irresponsible idea from the head of the PNRI, however, suggests that the agency, or at least its present personnel, may not be the best ones to lead that development. And that's the editorial for Wednesday, June 15, 2022. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print. Subscribe to its digital edition or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. And listen to the Voice of the Times.